What's happening? Hello world, and welcome to your third SQL Server tutorial. My name is Johnny DeLuca, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use SQL Server data tools to import a database. To give you a little bit of a brief overview of SQL Server data tools, also known as SSDT. It's new to SQL Server 2012, and it replaces the Business Intelligence Development Studio, or BIDS, that was in SQL Server 2008. And the primary purpose of this tool is development, but it can be used for database deployment and database level configurations. Using SSDT, you can create databases and database objects such as tables, views, stored procedures, and triggers. You can also edit data within the tables, and in addition, you can execute queries and perform database schema compares. Now, I know a lot of that sounded like gibberish to you. You're probably thinking, what's a stored procedure? What's a trigger? What's a view? Well, fortunately for you, if you stay tuned in later tutorials, I'm going to be discussing all of those, so fret not. Well, without further ado, let's begin. So we're going to go to Start, All Programs, Microsoft SQL Server 2012, SQL Server Data Tools. If you have never used SQL Server Data Tools before, which I assume most of you haven't, it won't go directly to the screen. You'll be presented with a screen that says SQL Server Data Tools, and it has a list of about, I think, 6 different development settings that you can choose from, and I believe it's like business intelligence settings, general development settings, SQL Server development settings, Visual Basic development settings, and C# development settings. What you're going to want to select is SQL Server development settings, and then there'll be a button underneath that says Start Visual Studio. So go ahead and do that, and then you should find yourself coming to a screen that looks similar to this. And I say similar because some of you may have a different version of Visual Studio already installed. I had Visual Studio 2010 Ultimate installed on here, but I intentionally uninstalled it so it would just be the Visual Studio 2010 shell, because that's probably what the majority of you will have. But anyways, it'll be similar. So once here, we're going to go to File, we're going to go to New, we're going to go over here to Project, and then as you can see here, you're going to see it says SQL Server Database Project. And as I said before, if you have a different version of Visual Studio, like Professional or Ultimate installed, you will probably see a whole lot more options here. Just go ahead and select whatever one says SQL Server Database Project. And if it says SQL Server Database 2012 Project, the most similar one to this. So anyways, okay, so I'm going to be importing the AdventureWorks database. So I'm going to rename that. Many of you probably don't have the AdventureWorks database installed. If you'd like that, that's really easy to do. Just Google that. Pretty self-explanatory. If you don't, that's okay too, because you can just use the master database or any of the other pre-installed databases instead. So, and then right here, I'm going to change the solution name to My Database 1. Alright, you can call it whatever you want. Select OK. Wait a second. Alright, from here, over here in the Solution Explorer, we're going to want to right-click, and then there should be a drop-down that comes up when you right-click, and then we're going to go to Import, and then we're going to go over here to Database. Depending on the version, it might look a little bit different, but regardless, right-click, then Import, then Database. And then when we do that, we'll be presented with this screen. We're going to click New Connection, and then from this drop down, we're going to want to select our server. I have 3 different versions of SQL Server installed on this machine: SQL Server 2005, SQL Server 2008, and 2012. If this were a production server, that would be frowned upon, but since this is just a test machine and I'm using it for nothing more than making tutorials and doing silly little tests, it's okay. That's why I have these different server names on here. But the one I'm looking for is admin-LOL505. Yours will obviously be different, so you want to make sure you have the correct server name selected. I'm using Windows authentication mode, so that's good to go there. And then from the drop down, I'm looking for AdventureWorks 2012, but like I said, maybe you don't have that installed. You can go ahead and select Master or Model or any one of the other pre-installed ones. Click that, select OK. Then we're just going to want to accept the defaults here and hit Start. And then this takes about a minute or so. Not too long, but pretty fast. Finish. And that's how you do it. That's a real brief overview of SQL Server data tools and how to import a database using SQL Server data tools. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section on my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for my next tutorial. I think I'm going to be covering SQL Server Configuration Manager a little bit more in depth. I very briefly did in a past tutorial, but I'll be doing another little slight tutorial. All of these tutorials are designed to be no more than 5 to 10 minutes. I want to keep them brief so that way it's not too much for you guys to digest. So I hope you're having fun taking it all in. Hope you're having as much fun as I am recording them. See you in the next tutorial. Hello again. Something I just wanted to point out. Fast forward probably 3 weeks from when this tutorial was recorded. I'm now uploading all 111 of these tutorials to YouTube, and I was just going back and looking at a few of them, and one thing I noticed is that I don't know if what you guys are seeing, but a lot of times in some of the earlier tutorials, when I go to right click on something, I see, like right now, I just right-clicked on that SQL query 18.SQL, and then of course I see the drop-down with the available options, cut, copy, remove, properties, etc. But I noticed when I was going back and reviewing a lot of these tutorials that that wasn't happening on the recorded version. I would, be giving the narrative saying, okay, now go over here and right-click on this, and then all of a sudden I would see the results of my having right-clicked and gone to wherever it was I was directing you to go. Like, for instance, right now I'm on properties. Whether or not you'll be seeing this, I don't know. So I hope that's not confusing anybody. If it is, just try to, obviously, stick to what I'm saying with the narrative, and then you'll see what I'm saying. And luckily, it's only every so often when I'm telling you to go here or there, right-click this. It seems to only happen with right-clicks, and it's obviously something to do with the EasyVid recording software I'm using, but I can't really complain because it was free. So anyways, yeah, again, hope that's not confusing anyone. It really shouldn't, but I just wanted to point that out. See you in the next tutorial.